And we are back, day 2, back at it again. Some people had a good day yesterday, Bryan Broaddus, and they stacked another good day on top of that good day. Some people went missing and we ain't hear nothing else from them. First of all, we appreciate you for giving us time and love and attention coming through on my show and our show from the We're Doing All Right show, and telling everybody what happened at Cowboy practice training camp on day 2. Appreciate you. How you doing?
Thank you, man. Doing great. Beautiful day out here as always. You never have a bad day in Oxnard practicing football. Hung out with the linebackers today. Kind of wanted to get an idea about rotations and how these guys were going to look. We got into some 2-minute football today. Had some defensive backs make some good plays. We had a chance to talk with Daron Bland on 105.3 The Fan. Learned something very interesting about Daron Bland, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. I didn't know this about him, but I thought the guy was lying to me the way he said it to me, but I'll take the man's word for it. It was a good day to watch some ball practice. Like I say, the defensive backs are finding ways to make some plays. Receivers find a way to get open. We haven't yet seen any of the offense and defensive linemen together. So it's more of the 7-on-7 stuff with the defensive backs, linebackers up against the tight ends, running backs, and then also the wide receivers. So we'll chop it up the best we can.
Okay, so let's start off with this, and then we'll get into camp here, and you really set this one up real good. I badly want to know what happened. What did you learn about All-Pro Daron Bland?
You know what's interesting is that I asked him a question about playing nickel slot corner, and I phrased it in a way of traits and characteristics, and he walked me through what we would expect. The vision, the ability to redirect, to cover the field. It's a hard position, he says, to play just because you have to carry so many routes. They run you through trash and all that. I had learned that he had never played nickel corner till he got to the Dallas Cowboys. He never one time in college ever played in the nickel and never played inside. And all of a sudden they had some injuries, with Lewis and others, and he was forced to play inside. But he had never, ever taken a snap before he got to the Dallas Cowboys where he played inside. So this is something that he's learned. He plays through feel, anticipation. I asked him about reading routes. He says he always laughs when the question is given to him about that. He says, no, not really. It's not, because I used to be a wide receiver. And I said, well, does that help you? And he goes, everybody always asks me about reading routes. And he goes, nah, it's just a lot of it is anticipation. It's an understanding. He's really, really big on film study. That's something that's really, really important to him. So he has an understanding of who he's playing against. But had an interception today out of the flat. Good break on the ball with him. But I basically called him a liar to his face is what I did. And I told him, I said, there's no way that you've played nickel corner. You've played slot. He goes, no, honestly, before I got to the Cowboys, I never did. So as Voch is showing here, a little play action, ball goes to the flat, boom, there's our guy right there anticipating where the route's going to be, just drives it, sees it, reads it. That's what this kid does. And you know what, he is I'd like to see, I know we've talked about this before, and he gave a lot of credit to Jordan Lewis, and teammates are going to give praise to teammates. He gives Jordan a lot of credit for his ability to play at nickel corner. But if somehow, some way, Kalen Carson can learn and can develop, and I told him, Zach Wolchek and I were interviewing, and we all know Zach and I working on the draft show together, that how much we liked, Kalen Carson, the rookie corner out of Wake Forest. And he looked at me and he just got this big grin on his face. And he goes, this kid's going to be good. That's going to be a good player. So, lining up on the left side today was Carson, getting opportunity. I've just been, you have to be pleased if you're Mike Zimmer. Al Harris, the defensive coaches, where these defensive backs have shown up through the first 2 days, with quarterbacks moving, a lot of Voch, a lot of boots, waggles, where you're trying to get eyes going one way, ball going the other, and guys holding up on the back end, linebackers included. And I mentioned earlier, I was watching the linebackers work today, and they were working on a lot of these drills where it's directional stuff, where all of a sudden you're a linebacker in the middle, say a Leofow or Overshown, and you're in the middle of the defense, and all of a sudden it's a crosser behind you. So it's drop, find crosser, and then go with. And so I've honestly, a lot of years covering Cowboys practice, I can't remember a drill where it was locate, turn, and then go, and carry a route into the flat, the opposite of where the receiver's coming from. So Mike Zimmer, the coaches, the linebacker coaches, all these guys, they're trying to get these guys to play a lot better coverage, and be more versed on that, of looking up guys and carrying guys. And we've seen it in a lot of this 7-on-7 work that we've gotten here the last couple of days.
Well, if I could take you back to this Bland pick, one thing that I noticed besides the Bland pick or whatever, right, is we see Clark right here. He's number 18. We see Eric Kendricks. He's number 50. And if you just zoom it a little, just moving forward a little bit, you see Leofow out there dropping in the coverage also. So we got and we haven't seen this in a long time, but a real 3 linebacker look. Bryan, how often did you see that? And you probably wasn't looking for it, but how often did you just see, boy, we got a lot of linebackers on the field, because we normally don't?
Yeah, we normally don't. I mean, I remember a call just yesterday that was, they went to base. And when you think of base, it's like, okay, you're going to put linebackers on the field. And, that was Leofow coming onto the field. And they got a little confused today in what they call the 2 spot, where offense and defensive line, where the defense and offense split up. So you have the 3s and the 4s and the 1s and the 2s, and they're split up. And the 1s and the 2s got a little confused today because Clark was on the field, and then Parsons wasn't sure where he fit. Because Parsons has been working a lot as some off-ball linebacker. And if, I know everybody on the channel has probably listened to Micah Parsons' comments today, that he was on the podium and talking about the different things that Mike Zimmer is trying to do with him. And so, yeah, that's where I love when you pull these clips, by the way.
Hey, come on.
And yeah, there you go, right there. I mean, that's Hunter Lipke right there, right?
Yep,
playing kind of as a wing slot, and there's Micah Parsons. How often do we see Micah Parsons, doing dropping stuff? And yesterday he was carried John Stevens on a nice one just then right there. Maybe Mike Zimmer is saying, listen, let's learn the basics instead of just be rush. Let's learn some off-ball basics.
Sure.
Because I know you can rush the passer.
Yeah.
I know you can rush the passer. So why do I want to work on something you're already good at? Yeah. Let me see if I can get you to play with a little bit more awareness or a little bit more instinct, and look at these routes. And then because like I say, there'll be plenty of times where I'll put you in the game to rush a passer. Yeah. But let's now try and develop some off-ball stuff. And I think Micah's taken to that.
And this is something that we kind of mentioned yesterday, right? Like, you don't want Micah not pass rushing mostly, right? But anything to just kind of throw you off, anything to just kind of, okay, well, Micah's not just at right defensive end now. You need to look for him pre-snap now. And there's been a lot of conversation online, Broaddus. There's a bunch of, PFF guys that says, well, Micah's linebacker grade isn't all that great. And there's some other guys like me, the side that I'm on, but he's the best athlete on the field, right? And maybe Zimmer has something to where he can teach him something. Like, Bryan, let me just pull this clip up. This is another clip of Micah off ball. Take a look at this burst, how he gets to the Turpin right here, right?
Yeah.
Straight to the look at the burst on this kid, Bryan. So he may not be the best linebacker via PFF. He may not have the mentals of Luafau and Kendricks or anything like that, but what he is the fastest joker on the field, Bryan. So I feel like maybe this is where Zimmer's going, okay, well, this is where we're teaching you how to play linebacker. Mike McCarthy got quarterback school. We got damn linebacker school, boy. You fast. We're going to teach you how to read and react, player. Do you have a feel of that's what's happening here?
Yeah, absolutely. That is mom and dad right there.
Yeah, that's
that
genetics, man.
That ain't any, yeah, that's mom and dad right there. That ain't coaching. That's just, that's recognition and getting outside. And that's, you talk about getting the ball in Turpin's hands. That's a legitimate weapon out there within space, and Micah be able to close as quickly as he did. But sure. I loved what I saw today. I like the drills with the linebackers. I like how they're trying to coach them up. I do, man. It is such a different looking group. The Cowboys went a little short at that position last year, and it hurt them. But Micah said he weighed 240 pounds. Micah's always going to be quick. He's going to be explosive. I think the weight loss is probably thinking that maybe he's going to have to play a little bit more off-ball linebacker, so he wants to make sure that he takes care of that area. But it's good to see him out there. It's good to see him in coverage that way. We all know that he makes a living. He's an all-pro. He's going to be a $30 million a year player rushing the passer. But anything that they could do to get him to feel more comfortable in drops, reads, and react, they're going to try and do.
Your guy, our pass catcher 4, wide receiver 3, seems to be stacking good days on good days. I ain't saying nobody else had a bad day, but I'm just saying that Jalen Tolbert is once again, he's just in your headlines. He's catching passes. He's not dropping too much. Where's your comfort level? It's 2 days. We ain't put passes on. We ain't played preseason or nothing. Because Bryan, it's some people in the chat that think Voch say they gonna win the Super Bowl because they did good in the first day of practice. Nah, we're just reporting what we seeing here, and I'm just seeing positive clips from Jalen Tolbert. Yeah. So he's stacking. That's 2 good days now. When it's time to put pads on, let's see if he has another good day. Jalen Tolbert's doing well, it seems like, Bryan.
Yeah, no, he is. And he and Brooks, I thought, if people were asking me about, CeeDee Lamb not being at practice, I'll say this, though. If you want to really, really knee jerk, you could say that Tolbert, Brooks have been better than Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
And so now you're, and okay, this is, and please don't clip this and get Voch and I in trouble. But this is, if you wanted to that number 1 has been very, very noticeable out there in Tolbert. And then you also, you turn around and you look at number 83, been very noticeable out there, and number 3, he's running by people and stuff, maybe not the ball getting to him, but this was going to be this competition between Brooks and Jalen Tolbert was going to come down to mental toughness. And you mentioned about stacking good days. And that's where this has to go. Jalen Tolbert nor Brooks have any, to quote the great Bill Belichick, no days off. They can't have a bad day of practice. But because this offense right now with no CeeDee Lamb, you're getting plenty of work. But they're being very competitive. These 2 practices have been very competitive. And so that's where I think that if they can maintain this level of practice and a separation, catching the ball on the move, winning on routes on the outside, that's, now you start to talk about, and we'll see here in 2 weeks or so when we get to the first preseason game, is Tolbert and Brooks playing better than what Cooks is? I've noticed 1 in 83 a lot in these 2 practices.
Yeah, and we got word that your 6th round pick Ryan Flournoy was having some tightness or a little issue or whatever. I think he'll ultimately be fine, but man, you can't be missing days. You cannot be missing days. And all the guys around when Tyron Billy Johnson going crazy and Tolbert and Brooks are making catches and Turpin's getting involved. The one thing you can't do you can't miss one day with a room this competitive. You cannot. Even David Durden is back with his knee sleeve on. So if you're Flournoy, you a draft pick. You normally are safe if you a draft pick, but man, you can't be missing days out here, Bryan.
No, and that's the thing. The more days you miss, the more likely you're going to end up on the practice squad. Sure. You know what I'm saying? And but they need him. They need him to go out there because we thought that kind of the learning curve was going to be a little steep for him. Yeah. I mean, he's a good looking player, but you're absolutely right. When guys are out there competing for reps and they're making plays and you mentioned Billy Johnson and Cam Johnson and Corey Crooms. I mean, there's guys out there that are fighting. They're fighting not only for a roster spot, they're fighting to make sure that they're on the practice squad. That still pays pretty well. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you got to make sure that your opportunity when your number's called, that you make the best of it.
We got Turpin on a catch here. Bryan, we've been talking about getting Turpin going. And so I guess it finally seems like they're trying to be active and getting him going. Bryan, let me ask you a question. You probably can't even say this loudly and publicly, but has Turpin been doing some running back stuff too? I know he does wide receiver work, but has he been doing some backfield stuff also?
You know what? I have, to be honest with you, I have not noticed that. And that's just on me. Maybe tomorrow is what they call the mock game. And that will be when it's more of a kind of a glorified walkthrough is what it really, really is. I don't think it's anything of note. Maybe things will have changed, but I know in the OTAs, they were doing more of that, the minicamp OTA practice, more backfield stuff. The one thing you have noticed is Hunter Lipke moving around a lot more. And so that part of it, I have noticed of him being in the backfield more. But I have not seen, just off the close of my eyes and thinking about it, I have not seen the stuff with Turpin. I'm sure somebody's got some clips out there, but you're trying to watch all 22 while it's going on. And by this way, I'm going to get some access to some things that's going to help me out here. So just bear with me. We'll have some good things going as we get through this camp. Trust me, my views and opinions will be a little bit more clear when, give me about a week and we'll be that way.
Illuminati Broaddus.
Just give me a little time. We'll be a little clearer on this.
Let me ask you this, sir. This is going to be a forever developing conversation that we're always going to have. I think the conversation's over, but the internet loves to know what's happening. So when Dak Prescott comes off the field, what's the Trey Lance Cooper Rush battle looking like? I mean, Trey's using his legs more. And look, if Trey got anything that's going to work to his advantage, it's running around and it's like his bigger arm. And, Cooper's more so keep you on task, right? So just where are we at with that quarterback 2 battle? Because neither one of these guys are touching 4. So which one of these guys has a lead now?
Yeah, I like the way you framed that question for me. And to me, I thought it was a better day for Trey Lance. There were a couple of times, late in the practice where he went to Brooks and instead of everything being check down, underneath, check down, that kind of, there was a little bit more of a trying to get the ball down the field. And I mean, get the ball down the field with a little bit more of with the crossing in mind. There was back-to-back plays where he and Brooks was running from what would be Trey Lance's right, and then coming inside, and trying and not something that was it was right in front of him underneath at that center guard box. It was more from the outside breaking in, and then you get Lance hitting Brooks twice and kind of getting him going on that crossing, on the crossing stuff. Cooper Rush is going to take chances. He's going to take more chances throwing the ball than Trey Lance will. I think Cooper Rush is completely comfortable with himself, and he is more interested in that ball going down the field, taking shots, maybe the comebacks, maybe the outs. They've been inaccurate on a couple of throws. Some credit about that. I give him some credit about making some of these throws that have been really, really some good throws. But it's just been a little bit too wide, but he's taking more chances than what Trey Lance is.
Do you have any report on our rookie offensive lineman? I saw there was this one clip that was I'll see if I go find that for you. But they was kind of, oh, look at Tyler Guyton blocking out in space. And I looked at the dude he was blocking, and it was like Brock Mogensen or something. And I know Brock ain't with the first or the second or the third damn team. That's like Brock with team 6. So how far down is Guyton playing to be blocking 6 team guys? You know what I'm saying? So
no, it's funny because I wrote that in my notes about a space block, and sure enough, it was number 59. Yeah. It was one of those things. So yeah, I will tell you this though. The one thing that you can really always appreciate about him is how his ability to get away from the line of scrimmage though.
So he can move.
He is an athlete. Yeah. He really is an athlete. And when you watch him for as long and tall as he is to get away from the line and be able to play with knee bend, and he's not all hunched over and all that. Yeah, here's the play right here. And our guy gets off and kind of gets in on the play, right? Yeah. You should just bury him right there.
I would have loved for Tyler Guyton to just bury Brock Mogensen. 16 Brock Mogensen.
Go back, even you run it back, look at 81 out there in space. And John Stevens right there.
If we just talking about good looking players, man,
yeah,
that John Stevens is a pro looking athlete, ain't he?
Yeah, he is a pro.
So John got his block more than Tyler. Was that Sam Williams? That ain't. Yeah, that's somebody with a 4 on their jersey. But yeah, man, John looks good. But yeah, Tyler's moving well, but nothing to report on your rookies and nothing like that.
No, and they were kind of talking about that it was really early in camp. I know the question was asked of Mike McCarthy and about rotations and stuff, and they're just trying to kind of figure some things out. So,
but you know what, Bryan? I'm sorry let me tell you what I'm sick of, because it ain't too damn early for Luafau. It ain't too early for Marshawn Nealon. I'm about to ask you about Marshawn Nealon because he was out there. Because he was out there. It's not too early for those guys. So why the hell is it too early for the first and third round pick, Bryan?
No, I
ain't asking you like you know. I'm just saying for Kalen Carson lining up with the ones, it ain't too early for him.
Hey. 1 week from today, I'll be living in the player complex. I'm now part of a radio 105.3. So next week I become property of DallasCowboys.com. So I'll be back to my old bumping into people, asking questions bit is what they're going to get tired of seeing me in that complex. But I will say this though. Yeah, you're right. It's not just play the guy. Let's go. That's the biggest discussion we're having right now. Everybody at dinner, well, they're really not going to play a Doga, are they, Broaddus? They're really not, are they? And I keep going, right now they are. Yeah. Right now they're absolutely playing a Doga, and that's the way it is going to be. We'll see if those things change. You did mention
Marshawn
Nealon. You mentioned Nealon. Playing both right and left end. I'll tell you something, Voch. I'll tell you. A little bit more quickness. Little bit more quickness. You know, when he was at
Western Michigan.
I didn't think there was the bend, and I didn't think there was the quickness. He's got some quickness. And now maybe this is something that they've worked on. But he was a little bit quicker coming off the ball today. And in that, I was worried about him getting upright, tall, no pass rush moves, but he's got a little bit of quickness to get to that edge. And if he's strong enough to get around the edge, to maybe get a little bit bend and work on that, I don't know, man. I like this kid playing. I mean, I was thinking, they're going to screw this kid over. Golston, by the way, was the backup today at 3 technique to Osa. So it was Mozzie and Osa, and then it was Mozzie working with Golston a little bit there as well. But I'll tell you what, Nealon had a little bit more jump today than what his college tape showed. So maybe it's something they working with him to try and make him a little bit quicker, but it was noticeable today. It was noticeable just in that 2-spot period where like he's standing probably 15 yards from me. And I'm like, okay, I'm watching you right here, young man.
Yeah.
And he was attacking the edge pretty well.
Also, too, something I noticed about Marshawn Nealon in many clips, they got him doing some B gap work, Brian. So right now you have Marshawn in B gap. Can you see? Yeah, Kaku. He's right here.
Yeah.
Sam is there, and Micah's over here at the other edge here. So
That's
you
some
actually
of their nickel stuff. Yeah.
Their
nickel. Yeah.
So you see a ton, like all day, like we just looking at clips. You see a bunch of Marshawn Nealon lined up inside, and I think Lawrence is in there with him. Lawrence right there.
Yeah, sure is.
Yep.
At the 3. Yeah, and that's the thing about it was because I was kind of like concerned. I'm like, oh, please be quick enough. I mean, if you play him at right end, he's going to be strong enough. I'm not worried about him playing the run.
Yeah.
It was going to be him being quick enough and not being a one-trick pony when it came to his pass rush, where all of a sudden he's rushing, he gets stuck again, he gets stuck.
Yeah.
You know, those were the things that I was kind of worried about with him. But today there was a little jump. A little bit of jump in that number 94 that I noticed in the drills.
Are we having some better days out of Williams? You know, there's a lot on his plate too. You know, we would love for Marshawn Nealon to be somebody that we can depend on. But Sam is like year 4 now, so we would love to depend on him. Like, is he a guy that's out there making plays and running around?
Yeah, Sam Williams. I've never heard anybody that complains more about stretching than Sam Williams. He is I was down on that one end. They were all coming towards me, and they kept blowing the whistle, and Sam was going, damn, let me stretch. And then Sam, I'll tell you what, man, what a good looking player he is.
Yeah.
Holy jeez, he's built like an end.
Yeah.
Haven't just the things I've noticed. God, I find myself watching when they flop sides, when Williams goes to the left end and then Tank goes right in. I'm like, does Tank still have something to rush from the right end?
Sure.
So I need to kind of pick back up about our guy Williams and see if 54 where he's at more.
So I wanted to ask you, Brian, in the last administration, let me just write while I'm talking to you because I can think better when I'm writing. In the last administration, D-Law was just pure left end guy.
Yeah,
everybody else was just right end guy. Is D-Law moving because the D line shifts with what the offensive line is doing now? So we got tight end on this side, strong right. Is D-Law just going with the tight end?
It was kind of funny where I thought they were playing strength of the field and the weak side is what and I thought, man, they are flopping with the tight end is what I initially thought. Now I need to saddle up to Zimmer and ask him that question, like, hey buddy, tell me why you're flipping these guys.
Sure.
Are you doing it because strong and weak? Or are you doing it just to try and see what's the different combinations? Maybe they're doing this in a way to really play that if they think teams are going to be right-handed or left-handed running the ball, that they got a guy at the point of attack that they can count on to make a play. But I need to ask Zimmer that, and hopefully tomorrow there's a lot of things I need to ask people tomorrow. But that was something I'm like, man, Tank never flop sides like that. So it might be something that they're trying to scheme-wise just get on film to see if it's something. But I'll tell you what, if Nealon keeps looking like he does coming off that left side and you want to put Tank over on the right side, let him rush because you feel like he might be the best one doing that, or work him and Micah together over there, man, I'll tell you, it's funny. You haven't seen Micah rush a whole hell of a lot. I saw they finally were blitzing. We were all thinking about double A gap blitzes and stuff. I don't remember seeing, but I do remember seeing them bring Wilson down and then bring him off the edge on a blitz. But we've been seeing a lot of cover two. Those two safeties in the middle of the field is what we've been seeing on a lot of this 7-on-7 work.
Have we been seeing Marquise Bell cover well? Have we been seeing Donovan Wilson cover well? Wanye cover well? Because that's if you need to write down something and be like, all right, cover two, what my safety's doing, that's something you need to be looking at for sure.
Yeah, that's the okay. Mark down 4 things you need to see at a practice.
Okay. And
Marquise Bell in coverage or Wilson in coverage. Yeah. Those are things that you need to go and find out, and you could, man, I find myself kind of watching the receivers a little bit more because I'm trying to figure out about, with Brooks and them and all, but the coverage is just as important where these safeties are and how these safeties play. I know one thing yesterday. Zimmer was coaching up Marquise Bell about reacting quicker. Like when you see it, go. If you read the route, go. Don't wait, just go.
Yeah.
And Zimmer was being, he was being nice about it. He wasn't like yelling at him or anything. He just says, hey, if you see it, you got to go. You got to go. So I think it's a little bit of an adjustment too for Bell. He's so used to being in the box where things happen just at a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
A little bit of depth. You're trying to kind of, oh my gosh, what's happening in front of me?
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing 83 on a cross. You're seeing 9 run. You're seeing all these combinations of routes. And once you read it, once you see it, you got to go.
Yeah.
So we'll put that down on the checklist of things that Bryan needs to check on the next couple of days here.
I tell you what, Unc, this was another fantastic edition of What the Hell Happened at Practice Today. We appreciate you for being boots on the ground. And please.
Can I say one more thing?
Por favor, every play.
Yeah. I did notice, though, with the running backs, early in the practice, there was a little bit of some problems with some drops and some things with the backs. And I kind of feel like that, that maybe there were a couple of guys here. Like I said, you can't have a situation like Rico Dowdle where they throw him the ball and he drops the ball. Yeah. You can't, if they're going to rely on you to make plays, you got to catch the ball. And so I think Dak threw one too much. It was a catchable ball. He just dropped it, though. They had a couple other ones where there were kind of some questionable things going on there. So the running back room, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, it's a group that they're keeping an eye on for sure, and I know all of us on the field are keeping an eye on it as well.
100%, because if they're going to be going heavy in the passing attack and all that, then Deuce Vaughn's probably going to have a big role in that. I really do believe, Bryan, I'm going to let you go after this. I really do believe that the season's going to go on. Zeke is going to look old, and Rico Dowdle just gets hurt every year. It just happens. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, this ain't me wishing nothing on nobody. It's just it's just facts.
I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong about that. I think that, to me, in the pro department, every single team that has a surplus at running back, I'm following.
Sure.
I'm watching all those teams with running backs, and I'm gonna figure this thing out, because I don't know if going into the season with how it's currently configured, I don't know if that's going to be good enough. And I don't mean that to be a 2-day knee-jerk thing, but it's something that they've got to be very conscious of. But we'll see. We're gonna, we need some 9-on-7. We need some team. We need to see, other than the 2-spot, but it's not tackling. It's kind of a 3/4 speed thing. It's more about lining up. When we get into the padded practices or the more competitive practices, we need to see about these running backs that they're finding the holes, hitting the holes, and making things happen.
Well, the pads come on, Bryan. I think I got it on my calendar here.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, we have an off day. We got an off day on Monday.
Yep.
So then a Tuesday, and then when Wednesday happens, we'll probably get some good competitive periods then.
Now, Bryan Broaddus, we've been doing a whole bunch of talking about these receivers and Trey Lance running around. That's cute. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, Marquise Bell in coverage. That's fine. But when the pads come on, I need to know who's Osa whooping. I need to know who's Tyler whooping. I need to know how far BB is ahead of Brock. I ain't telling you nothing you don't know already, because you're a pro. You're the best in the business. Yeah. Nobody's better than you. I know you got me, but boy, I can't wait to hear from you that day, Bryan.
Well, I tell you what, inside I was kind of like Dak and BB fumbled a snap. Like Dak under center and fumbled the snap.
Yeah.
And inside of me, I kind of went, "Oh, that's a shame," and I'm thinking maybe it was not BB, it's Hoffman. Hoffman and Dak have a fumbled snap.
Bryan, look. Damn, Hoffman.
Hoffman.
He'll get the next one.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. You guys were all talking about BB snapping the ball too low. No, look at this. Hoffman, he puts it on the ground too.
Man. Hey, man, look, I don't wish nothing bad on Hoffman. I just want BB to go. I just want BB to go out there and just whoop people, just so I could be told you so guy.
I do too.
Bryan, I want you to get some rest, man. I want you to go have a beer. I want you to go hang out with your friends out there in Oxnard, California. I'm sure you're gonna bump into somebody famous.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, man. We'll figure it all out. Let's talk again tomorrow. We got a kind of a, they call it a game practice kind of a
scrimmage
thing, mock game kind of thing. I don't know how competitive it's going to be.
Sure.
But you know what? Afterwards, we can all get together and talk about it. How about that?
That sounds good, Bryan Broaddus. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you want updates, because Bryan going to wake up early in the morning and just, hey, if y'all got any questions, and he'll answer them. So Bryan, Bryn Broaddus on Twitter. Don't look for me on Twitter because I ain't saying nothing until I talk to Bryan. For the rest of y'all, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I'll catch y'all next time, man. Salute.